and welcome to the Farm RPG podcast. I am your host, Belogan. Short episode this week, but I didn't want to delay getting this fantastic player spotlight that we have, Sophie Sims. Before we jump into that, just a quick call out for some help for the D&D game. For various reasons, we no longer have Cole and Force Path, so we're looking for a new player or two. If you are interested in playing and are available to record Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, please reach out to me and let me know, and we'll talk about it and see if we think it'd be a good fit for the group. All right, with that, let's go ahead and jump into this player spotlight. Welcome to the Farm RPG podcast. We've got a player spotlight today. I might be a little bit rusty. I am sure my guest, who has recently binged the show, will keep me straight if I screw up. As always, hi, I'm Belligan. No Augie today. She is very much tied up in a lot of things going on in life at the moment, but she'll be back as soon as she's able. Our guest today is Sophie Sims.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for kicking down the door and saying, you're going to interview me now.
Does it look, sorry, Belga, does it look like it's recording?
It is absolutely recording. I see your squiggly lines.
Okay, awesome. They're not showing up on my end. Sorry to make something for you to edit out. I just wanted to make absolutely sure.
Yeah, no, we should be good. It says it's updating and the local and the cloud backup are keeping up to date. And so you should be good.
Awesome. Sorry about that.
So just technical stuff on Zencaster in case I'm too lazy to cut that tidbit out. It usually works pretty well, unless you're on spotty Wi-Fi and it keeps kicking you off, like happened to Augie on the last D&D episode.
Yeah, that was tragic.
Where I just started recording my own desktop audio coming in, and that's how we.
I couldn't even tell. That was great. You did a good job.
Yeah, it didn't upload. The biggest giveaway on that is that you can hear the dice rolls from Roll20, since they are the desktop audio in the episode.
A little insider baseball. I like that.
There you go. All right. So, Sophie, you've been playing, it looks like, since the 24th of September. So what is that, like a little over 3 months now, 4 months?
Yep. And I would say, tragically behind the other people who have been playing the length of time that I'm playing, but I am enjoying myself, and that's all that really matters, I guess.
Well, I'll say 4 months in, looking at your farming, fishing, crafting, exploring levels, I was not at those levels yet.
Oh, that makes me happy. I mean, the Christmas event definitely helped, but yeah, I always feel like I'm behind, but it's good to know that maybe I'm keeping pace a little bit.
I won't make you feel bad by mentioning that I started before the game released and we didn't have end game content in. And so it's like 6 to 8 months to get level 99 in anything.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's crazy.
So it was fun. I was actually the first player to hit all 4 99s before cooking was a skill.
Congratulations.
I had that fancy color and everyone's like, Bella can turn it on. We want to see what it looks like in chat. So,
that's so cool. I didn't know what the colors were for. So that's really awesome. I'm glad to learn something even when I'm recording the podcast, not just listening to it.
There are. Yeah. In your settings, there's colors you can pick, and some of them unlock with specific achievements, such as hitting certain levels and skills.
That's super cool.
So I think a lot of us now are using the Tower Level 100 skill for color, for example, number 9.
It's going to be a while before I get access to that, but I will use it when I get it.
Enjoying the crap. All right. Well, back in September, how did you find Farm RPG?
Like a lot of people, I heard the spot on it on the Besties podcast, which I listened to. I was behind by about a year, but the day that I heard that mention, I got really excited and I downloaded it thinking that it would be a before bed kind of app or game, and it quickly became an all the time app, which is a beautiful thing to find. But yeah, I heard about it on the Besties.
Fantastic. We've had quite a few people come over from the Besties.
Yeah, it's a nice little shout out.
So have you talked any of your friends into playing the game, or is it just a solo experience for you in that regard?
I have really tried to sell a lot of people on this game, and I eventually got 3 friends to play, one of whom got really into it.
Fantastic. So, what's your sales pitch? How do you describe the game to people?
My sales pitch is a little bit disingenuous, but it's the best way that I can synthesize it for people. I usually say that it's like if Stardew Valley were an idle game. And I don't actually think that that is true, but I have found that it has the highest success rate of selling it. If I had to describe what I actually think it is, I would say that it's um, a farm themed text based, it's almost like a Metroidvania, which is going to ruffle some feathers, but I really do think that it has some of the like progression hooks and most exciting elements that come out of a Metroidvania. And I think that's like what has gotten me so into the game so quickly and so deeply and with such complexity.
I like the bait and switch. It's like Stardew Valley, an idle one, and then you'll find out
I
it's
mean,
not
that's the
so idle.
it's the simplest way to describe the feelings I think that you are going to get from playing the game, and then when more stuff opens up, it's just like an added bonus, like a cherry on top. And I don't know, I haven't had that much success with that sales pitch, but it's the closest that I've gotten.
There you go. I don't play farm games, so I've never tried that, but I do play farm RPG just
It's
a
a
little
pretty
bit.
good game. Yeah, just a little bit.
I probably spend more time in the podcast than playing at this point, but that's all right.
Well, we appreciate all the work that you do behind the scenes, all the library pages and everything.
Oh, don't remind me. Like my perk list has not been updated in 6 or 8 months. At this point, I'm thinking, do I bother? Because all of the new perks are kind of end
Please
game.
do, because the library is so great. And I didn't even know it existed until I started listening to the podcast. And then I was like, I mean, I knew it existed and I didn't really know what to do with it. And I was not deep enough in the game to be able to make use of very much of it. But
Mhm.
then once I discovered it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just incredible. So yeah, if you feel inclined to update the library pages, I know there are people who read them and just love them.
I'm almost thinking of crowdsourcing it at this point. Like I have my opinion, but what's really useful for the early game, mid game, late game, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident my ones that I say are just absolute trash, and I still haven't bought really only one. But
How can you know if you didn't buy them yet?
well, the one that gives bonuses to doing charters and what's the other one that you to spend
That's
gold on?
fair.
Star maps.
Yeah,
I haven't bought that. I don't use those.
and when I was reading I spent the, 1 gold to get back 4 gold. I made that investment. And after that, I was like, I truly don't see the point of doing this. I mean, I guess if I like don't want to be sitting there and clicking during work or something, but I kind of like the adventure of exploring and doing stuff myself. So I was glad to see that you were in agreement on
Well, good. Glad we agree on that.
that.
All right. So our next question, and I'm going to take a stab at this, is where does your farm RPG username come from? And I'm going to guess somewhere in your past you were a big player of Sims games.
Wow, how did you know? That was
Lucky
my,
guess.
yep. So my given name is in there, and yeah, Sims was my video game love, and still is. Um, it was the first. We weren't allowed to have consoles when I was a kid, but my parents didn't really understand that computer games are video games too. So we were allowed to have computer games, and that was the first one that I found and just like fell in love with very, very deeply, and I'm still in love with it to this day. Although I've like diversified a lot.
Very nice. We don't do consoles in my house either, and that's just because my wife's like, "Nope, the TV's mine. I don't want any game stuff hooked up to it. I'm gonna watch my
What about
shows."
what about portable stuff like Game Boys and stuff?
No, we don't have that. Now, granted, we have tablets at this point, and the kids
Okay,
have
yeah,
phones,
that's fair. And so many
but
different games now
I
are
mean, even Bushy, my
multi-platform.
youngest, is almost 18, so we don't have little kids anymore at
Yeah,
this point. They're kind of old enough and do what they want
very
at
fair.
this point. So besides Farm RPG, apparently Stardew Valley and Sims games, what other games do you like to play?
um, I am starting to branch out a little, which is exciting. And I bought a Nintendo Switch in 2020, like the rest of the world. And so since then, I've sort of gotten into more gamery games, I guess. My favorite is Hollow Knight. I love that game very, very much. It's super cool. but I'll try and play a little bit of everything. So I'm into Hades, like a lot of people who have been on the podcast. And I like Legend of Zelda. I played Mario Odyssey. So a lot of different stuff. And I'm gonna try and start doing some more PC stuff if I can get into it. But yeah, I'll play a little bit of everything. I love games of any sort. I work in board games, and I like will if you gamify anything, I will definitely engage in it. I do the crossword puzzle every single day. So I just like I love games really of any kind. It doesn't have to be a video game. I just love I don't know, playing around, I guess.
All right. Now, you can't just say I work in board games and leave it on that. You've got to expand on that a little bit.
I work at uh, it's I work at Ravensburger, which is an international puzzle company, and I work in the brain and logic division. So we do a lot of single player logic games, and we also do tabletop games that specialize in some form of like education or yeah, just like skill building, educational skill building for kids, but some for adults. And I'm a product manager there. So I basically just yell at people when they fall behind schedule and try to keep them from doing that and usually fail. It's not
Project
easy.
managers are important people.
Yes, but not
Yeah.
the most well liked people.
Yeah. Now, my industry, we certainly work with project managers or product managers all the time as well. But my job isn't as fun. It's like, yeah, we teach engineers how to use test equipment and then sell it to them, which all of like maybe a dozen people in every state care about. They all like the products they make, but no
Yeah,
one
it's
cares about
exciting,
what
I
they
feel
do.
like.
People like their computers and tablets and those kind of things.
Yeah.
All right. If there's one thing you wish the farm RPG community knew, what would that be?
I
Does it
think
have to be game related? Could be.
I think something that I only recently in the game gave myself liberty to indulge in, and I'm really happy that I did. So if there's anybody out there like me, I'm the type of person who like I'll always drive to the restaurant to pick up my takeout order rather than like pay the extra for delivery. So when I saw
Mhm.
the quality of life upgrades, I was like, well, I don't need those. Like I can muscle through. And recently I like finally indulged and bought myself a couple of the quality of life upgrades with my gold. And I was so happy that I did. And it like has totally economized the way I play. So it's not, you're not just spoiling yourself if you buy the quality of life upgrades, you're really doing yourself a favor. So if you're like me and you've been holding out thinking, well, I should save my gold for something that like actually is going to have a percentage effect or something, try and check out some of the quality of life upgrades. They're not just making your life easier, they're being awesome.
It's hard to quantify what they're really worth on the quality of life perks, but like some of them I don't want to play the game without at this point. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
I
going to go pet every raptor I
oh
have.
my
It's
gosh,
just
yes. That was one of the first, yeah, I didn't even realize what I was buying when I bought that one, and it just or the one for the pets, I don't have raptors yet, but yeah, you when you get to above a certain number of cows, they are not going to get the individual love that they maybe need.
yeah, when you got 250 pigs, 250 cows, 250 chickens,
Exactly. You
that's
cannot
a
pet all of those individually every
that is
single
a
day.
lot
It's
of
just
cooking.
not happening.
Exactly. So are there any perks that you're eyeballing that you haven't bought yet but you're thinking about?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I don't think I'm quite up to, let me look. The one that I just bought that like really like inspired me to bring this up on this podcast, that's how strongly I feel about it, was the one that grays out when your inventory is full of stuff.
Mhm.
During like exploring and fishing and stuff. And I had been like, well, I can just keep track of that in my head and like kind of be checking my inventory frequently. And that is possible, but it is not as useful as that. I don't remember if it was a perk or something I bought with gold, but yeah, it's really just like made my life so much better. The inventory monitor one. And I've also
I
heard
had
that the Yes, I'm Sure one is really good too.
Yeah, yes, I'm sure used to be almost essential. There's been a lot of things with click reduction that aren't quite as important to this, I'm sure, anymore. Um, but yeah, it used to be. It was obnoxious to play the game without it, and that's why I was like, "This is the first one you must get." I think I still have that listed in my guide.
It has.
Just
I'm
because.
almost hesitant to get that one though, because it has saved me a few times when I'm just like not paying attention and like go to drink 100 orange juice or whatever. And like sometimes you want to drink 100 orange juice, but sometimes you don't. And it saved me a couple times where I've just clicked the wrong thing and been like, no, 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 don't do that. And then I can go back and not do that. So I'm
It used
almost
to be
hesitant
like
to get it.
every lemonade and every fishing net and things
Oh,
like that.
yeah. I don't know
And
that
so
I
it's
would
like,
like
yeah,
that. I'm glad
yeah.
that got reduced.
All right, fantastic. So we know a little bit about you. We know you work in the board game industry. You have successfully talked a few people into playing Farm RPG, and you've been playing for about 3 or 4 months. And you binged the whole show. You said in about a week or so,
Yep.
which is
I did do that.
fantastic, and kept your sanity. So that's good.
I did. I learned a lot.
Do you have any other interesting facts about yourself you'd like to share?
Yeah, I did want to share. This is also, I guess, a little bit something that I wish more people knew about from outside the game. But I'm a living organ donor. I donated 20% of my liver in May of this year. And it's definitely just the thing that I've done that I'm the proudest of and the greatest accomplishment of my life. I don't have kids, so I guess that maybe will get trumped at some point, but I kind of wish more people knew or thought about living organ donation. It's weird to say that I had fun doing it, but I did have a lot of fun doing it, and it's definitely not for everybody. But if I don't know, I'm very open about it and happy to answer questions. So that's definitely a fun fact about myself, I guess. And if anybody has questions, you can absolutely feel free to message me over Farm RPG, and I'd be happy to share my experience. It's a really cool thing to do.
So, what made you even think about doing that in the first place? Apart from like a lot of us who get our driver's licenses, you can click, yeah, you can use my
Yeah, I
organs
mean,
or
and
not, right?
yeah, so that's like when you click that, that's when you're dead, and I have that too. Um, but on like Facebook, sometimes like friends of friends will share like this person needs a kidney, um, and I saw one of those on Facebook, and I was just like, I wonder what that actually entails now that I'm an adult and could do this. And I kind of looked into it, and I just kept getting this feeling like, wow, this is really cool. It's like the science and medicine behind it is totally amazing. And your liver like regenerates and grows back. So like the surgery is like fairly extensive, but once you heal up from it, like I'm 7 months out at this point, and I'm like back to normal. So like it really has no effect on your life unless there are complications, which is infrequent, I think. So yeah, I saw somebody talking about it on Facebook who I didn't end up matching with that person at all, but I just started thinking like, like I've heard about this, but I don't really know anything about it. And then I did a bunch of research and decided it was something I wanted to do.
So, if someone's listening and starts thinking, "Hey, that might be interesting." Where would you direct them to go look to get more information on that?
If you literally just Google kidney donation or liver donation, you can find a ton of resources. A lot of the like hospitals that specialize in those programs have a ton of information on their program websites because they want to give you all the information about what it is like. And then there is a living donor group on Facebook that like pretty much anyone can join, and you can just say like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. I want to learn more about it. Let's see what it's called. um, the one I'm in is called Living Liver Donor Support Group, but if you just look up Living Organ Donor on Facebook, there's tons and tons of people and just people sharing their experiences. There's blogs online. Please feel free to reach out to me if you want, but yeah, there's tons of information about it online. And a lot of the hospital programs, they are required by law to be really forthcoming with you about what it is that you're going to go through, because there's a lot of laws about who can give and under what conditions and stuff. So you'll get a ton of information by just Googling and looking around on Reddit and Facebook and then different hospital programs.
All right, there you go. We hit all kinds of topics on
Oh, yeah.
Farm RPG podcast, from trucks and camping, real farming, slingshots, and living donors now. So,
Yeah. I wouldn't call it a hobby, but it is, it's something to do if you need to pass the time, I guess.
All right, that's fantastic. Hey, do you have any shout outs before we wrap up?
No, I guess not. I'm pretty quiet in chat. I mostly hang out in giveaways. And then when people need low level stuff, I just try and spam them. So if you see me, you can say hi, but I'm usually pretty quiet and shy. So I haven't really made any friends. I guess Felix Saurus is my friend who I got to play the game, and they're really cool. So hi, Felix Saurus, and hi, anybody who I haven't met yet who would want to be friends.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you, Sophie Sims, again for reaching out to Augie and I and making some time to come on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And thank you guys for all the hard work you put into the podcast. It's such an awesome thing for the community to have.